So, thank you so much for joining us for navigating family stuff. And during the holidays, there is a lot of family stuff that we can indeed navigate. And during our time together, we are going to do some reflection as I go on, this talk for a little bit. Then we will do some guided meditation. And as we go along, please know that various feelings may come up. Knowing that we all comes from different types of families, knowing that all of our backgrounds, all of our experiences are completely different. You may feel some ups, you may feel some downs, you may feel a whole spread of emotions. But know that we are going to check in as we go along. And part of mindfulness is acknowledging our feelings, acknowledging our emotions. And these feelings don't always feel good, and that's okay. And then being able to not judge ourselves for what we're feeling, to try to let go of the judgment of others. And once we do that, then to let them go, to let these feelings go, these acknowledgments go, these reflections go, so that they don't hold us down and that we can focus on being instead of so much doing. So, as we were saying, the holidays bring up so many different types of feelings based upon our life experiences. And as we approach the holiday season, there can be so much not only going on within our families, but also going on within our minds. Especially this year, this is being shot in 2021, the year after COVID. There are a lot of thoughts. There are a lot of various types of comfort levels. There are a lot of ideas of where do we go, perhaps who's vaccinated, who's not, who am I comfortable with seeing, who is usually with too many other people, where do people work, and who do we want to spend time with? Who do you want to expose your family to a degree? And with all of these types of thoughts and all of these types of reflections, there can be so much internal talk that takes up so much space in our minds. And then sometimes clouds how we show up in life, clouds the way that we respond to our internal nucleus, our close family and friends, and then the way that we choose to respond or react to our external nucleus, to our friends and family members that we may perhaps only see around the holiday season. Our internal talk can be filled of what is there to do? Where are we going to go? What is there to buy? How much money do we spend on each person? Do they really deserve all of these things? Look at all there is to clean. Do we really want to have people over to clean before and then after? Look at all that there is to prepare. How is that family or that person going to like this gift or this meal? What are they going to think? Why do they need to react in that way? Why does he speak to her like that? Why does she put up with it? Why does that person always have an attitude? Why do they offer to cook if they don't know how to cook? Do they think that people like their meals? Do they think that people are actually going to eat this? Who told them that that gift would be a good idea for a kid? Does anyone really want this as a gift? So many thoughts. And if you notice through those thoughts, how much of it is really our stuff that we hold in our minds that have to do directly with us, or how much of it is really thoughts and ideas that we take on, but that really have to do with other people. It's really natural for us as humans to take on other people's stuff. But when we do that and then make it become our stuff, our plates get loaded with more things than are really meant to handle. The invisible backpacks, so to speak, that we wear get filled with heavier and heavier stuff that we perhaps don't really need or weren't meant for us, but we take them on. Take a moment as we go through this conversation to reflect. Then does that internal talk, these internal thoughts, do they become external? Meaning, do you then take out your thoughts into your behavior and into your actions and onto others? And think about, what good does that do? Think about, do you have to have the last word? And if you do, how does that serve you? Can you just breathe through a statement and let it go, as opposed to taking it on and going into a back and forth with a family member or a friend, or perhaps not a family member, maybe it's a guest that was brought to the party? And on the other end of the spectrum, do you not take up enough space? Do you perhaps need to speak up and say something when you usually would not? As we reflect on those questions and we bring awareness to everything that was said, just think about, how does that feel in your body? How does that land and resonate with you? Do you feel anything in your belly or in your chest, in your jaw or in your eyebrows, in your mind? What do you feel as you heard all of those various statements that perhaps brought up different memories or different ideas of what may happen this year? And after bringing awareness on how that lands on your body, then how it lands on your mind, and what emotions do you associate with those feelings? And bringing awareness to the positive and the negative impact that stories that may have been shared with your family, ideas that may have been passed down, perhaps from generation to generation, or parent to parent, or family member to family member. What do you hold on to? And how does that serve you well? Or is it serving you at all? Is it necessary to still hold on to these things, these stories, these emotions? Is it necessary to pass them on if they don't have a positive impact? As we go into the holiday season, and as you think of times and experiences, perhaps family members that challenge you, really think about, what is it that you really feel? And what do you think you need to do to continue just because everyone else does? Just because your family does it? Or what do you think you need to do for yourself? Think about truly, what is the best way to handle conflict, to handle different points of views, to handle conversations that perhaps are best left outside of the dinner table, but when they're brought into dinner, how are you best going to handle those? What would be best for the relationships between those you love, but perhaps may challenge you? And although we don't want to be characterized as selfish, sometimes we do need to think selfishly. And we do need to think about, what is best for my heart? What is best for my soul? Does this serve me well? And if it does not, what are the best actions that you can take to protect your heart, to protect your mind, your soul, your peace, and your ease? And if you don't have that peace and ease yet, or have trouble locating it, especially around the holidays when there is so much going on, I invite you to join me on this guided meditation and perhaps try to remember how you feel now throughout this time, and understanding that you can do this on your own as well. So before we officially get started with the meditation, let's take a moment to ground ourselves in the space that we're in after those varying thoughts and situations. And grounding ourselves really helps us have an awareness, not only on our thoughts, but on our bodies at any given time. So in the space that you're in right now, wherever that may be, look around the space and just take it in first. Take in the lighting, what's on the walls, things that are on the floor. Challenging to leave the judgment, to leave the to-do list of the things that you have to clean and the things that you have to do, but simply taking in the space that you're in. And once taking the time to do that, I invite you to find three objects specifically that remind you of family. Maybe it's a photograph. Maybe it's a drawing, a gift someone gave to you, a piece of clothing that reminds you of a family member, even though it belongs to you. Perhaps it's a book that you have in the space that you're in that reminds you of a story of a family member. Any three objects. And once you have located those three objects, I invite you to just take a moment and think of who they remind you of, and any ideas, any emotions, any thoughts that come up. As you view these objects, perhaps you have them in your hands. And if you do, taking a moment to bring awareness of how they feel, not only physically in your hands, but what feelings it elicits from your heart. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and leave those objects out of your hands. Or if you were just viewing them, perhaps bringing your gaze down so that nothing else is to be distracting to you. If you're comfortable, closing your eyes fully and settling in to your mind and body by taking breaths in and letting them go in whatever way feels best for you in this moment. Let's take the opportunity to build an ability to observe what happens within our minds, within our hearts, without judgments. And for a few moments, continuing to think about the holidays. But before we do, and as you continue to breathe, just noticing whatever is happening in your body right now, whether you feel tight anywhere or whether you're relaxed. just noticing it and letting it be, not trying to change it, not trying to make it something that's not coming naturally at this moment, but just letting go of all expectations, of any judgments, and just turning to noticings and observations and just being in this space. As you continue to breathe, again, in whatever way suits you best in this very moment, I ask you to picture holiday traditions that you may have had as a child. Think of a holiday memory from your past where you felt deep joy. And if you may have trouble recalling one, perhaps it's a recent memory or a memory of your own child if you have them in your life. A holiday memory that brings you joy. And as you think of this, perhaps bring it to vivid colors and motions in your mind. Take a moment to focus on the details of that moment as it may play back in your mind like a movie. And really embrace the memory. Pay attention to any joyful emotions or sensations that you may have felt then. Perhaps the smiles of others that you see. And bring awareness if it brings a smile to your face now, or a feeling of lightness, or a feeling of joy within your mind, on your face, or in your body. Try to bring in any other senses, perhaps the smells of the memory playing back in your mind, perhaps the taste of food, the sound of music or laughter or voices of loved ones. And as you stay with that memory, think of any other emotions that may be arising within you. Maybe with that joy, maybe there's a mix of excitement, or perhaps some stress, and maybe some sadness. Know that there is no feeling that is good or bad, but feelings just are. And practice your best to acknowledge, to feel, and then to let go. Try not to wrestle too much with any thoughts going back and forth. Just label it and let it go as you exhale. And shifting gears now, perhaps from a joyful memory from your childhood, bring it back to the current moment, the time that we're in now. And in your mind, picture the next few weeks as we approach Thanksgiving and the month of December and all the holidays it brings. As you picture perhaps the calendar, perhaps your to-do list, notice what comes to mind. And again, how that feels in your mind and on your body. As you think of various events to go to, or perhaps those that you are not going to. Does it bring a swirl of joy and stress, or of sadness and exhaustion? Whatever it is, just scan it, notice it, and let it be. And if it stays with you for a while and you're unable to let it go, be curious about it. And breathe in clean, fresh air to any parts of your body that may be holding on to these feelings. And as you exhale, know that you can let it go when you're ready. And as you continue to think of the coming weeks of the holiday season, know that in this very moment, where you are in the right here and right now, there's nothing that you can do. There's no one else to be, nowhere to go. In this very moment, all there is to do is sit and breathe. Right now, taking care of any feelings is all you're responsible for. And how much can you do but again label, acknowledge, breathe into it, and let it go. And know that you can do that at any point throughout the holiday season and at any point with challenging family members and friends. And as we think of those folks, shift your attention to someone you care about. Picture their smile. Picture their laugh. Picture the beautiful memories you have together. What will it be like to spend time with them this year, whether they are with you in person or whether they are with you in spirit? And as we've done before, wish them well. Wherever they are, wish them peace. Wish them health, wish them safety, wish them happiness. And know that you can take these same wishes and bring them upon yourself. Very often we think of others so often before we think of ourselves, and it's okay to make ourselves a priority. During times of stress and during difficult and challenging times, our minds race with to-do lists, and we leave ourselves for last. Know that just being here in this very moment, you are taking necessary time out for yourself so that you can have the energy and the well-being to tackle all that there is to come in the coming weeks. So hopefully with the same gusto and vibration, wish yourself that same feeling of ease, of peace. Wish yourself the same feelings of health and safety and happiness. Know that you can make time for yourself each and every day. Taking time to be with yourself is doing. Make time for yourself to rest Make time for yourself to play. Learn to say no to invitations that may not be beneficial for you. Learn to take control of what you want to do in your life, sometimes putting other feelings aside and other people's feelings aside, if that's what's going to be best for you. Know that there are ways, as busy as you are and as stressed as you may feel, know that there are ways to simplify your life, not just through the holiday season, but each and every day. Know that you can be willing to let go of things that are not important and meaningful to you, and know that you can create the space for things that are. As you continue to breathe, seal your mindfulness practice by knowing that you can make it through anything, by knowing that you have the ability to carry memories of loved ones in your heart and in your mind, by knowing that you have the ability to get through challenging conversations and situations with people who challenge you in a peaceful and in a way of ease that doesn't have to lead to big reaction. Know that you are enough the way you are. Know that you are enough in what you do. And know that you have enough in those around you. As you inhale, breathe in peace for yourself. And as you exhale, breathe that peace into the air around you. And know that energy can take that peace and place it into others' hearts. Wishing you a joyous and peaceful holiday season.